They marched down my driveway like they were in some sort of HOA homecoming parade. Clipboards swinging, 2 rental cops in tow, and one guy dragging a jackhammer like it was his destiny to break something expensive before lunchtime. Out front was Beverly Concade, the HOA president, standing smack dab on my cedar footbridge like she was about to deliver the Gettysburg Address to a crowd of angry beavers. She had her phone out dialing 911 with the righteous fury of a queen who'd never heard the word no. Into the phone she barked, "Dispatch, we have an unpermitted bridge and a belligerent male emergency demolition required." That's what she actually said. Meanwhile, I'm just leaning against the railing, sipping coffee from my travel mug, thinking, "Lady, you should probably get off the load-bearing section before the real troopers arrive on my call, by the way." Let me back up a sec, because you probably think I'm the neighborhood troublemaker. I'm Bennett Hale. I keep to myself. I respect boundaries, literally and otherwise. I even say please to my GPS. Also, and this is relevant, I serve as counsel to the governor of our mildly chaotic state. I bought this place out in Redwater Crossing, a patchwork subdivision stitched across a trout stream that's been around longer than any of us have had birthdays. The property came with a bridge, if you could call it that, just a stack of rotten planks that looked like they'd survived 3 wars and lost every single one. I replaced it with a proper stamped engineered span so my Prius wouldn't die of splinters every time I needed milk. Cue Beverly. She's got a haircut shaped like a warning triangle, a sun visor from the Militant Golf Collection, and a real talent for weaponizing phrases like community character. She cornered me in my driveway one morning and declared with all the gravity of a UN summit that my new bridge projected dominance and invited ATV culture. I told her it projected safety and invited groceries, maybe a pizza if I'm lucky. She looked at me like I'd suggested burning down the community bulletin board, then oozed out, "We'll see about that," like she was reading from a soap opera script. That's when the letters started showing up like subscription boxes I never signed up for. First one said, "Unauthorized arch shape perceived as dramatic." Second one, "Handrails too confident. Please soften." My personal favorite creek views now feel bridged, as if the entire purpose of a bridge was not to bridge things. Beverly started popping by at dawn with a tape measure, and this decibel meter she swore was calibrated to birdsong, just shaking her head and scribbling notes on her clipboard. She even started rumors, told the neighbors I was changing stream democracy, whatever the heck that meant, and hinting I was building a commercial zip line. Mrs. Henderson, 2 houses down, asked if it was true I was putting in a toll booth. All I could do was laugh and show off my stack of paperwork, engineering plans, county permit, and a letter from a hydrologist saying my bridge actually improved the water flow. Beverly took one look at the official seal and said, "This font looks aggressive, like the state's supposed to use Comic Sans for community friendliness. I wish I was making this up." Then at 6:30 in the morning, because apparently Beverly doesn't sleep, she shows up to deliver the final notice. "Remove bridge in 72 hours, or the HOA will coordinate municipal abatement." I ask, "What exactly does coordinate mean?" She grins, holds up her phone and shows me a Facebook post. "Demo day wear, closed-toe shoes, and bring synergy. 37 people already marked attending, including a guy named Derek, who commented he owns a sledgehammer and has been waiting for this moment his whole life." And that brings us back to this morning, the parade of clipboards, the jackhammer guy Beverly dialing 911 with a little audience gathered around her like they're extras in a reality show. She tells the dispatcher, "We've got a public safety crisis." When the patrol car rolls up, Beverly points at my bridge like it just committed a felony. She waves around this binder labeled "Emergency Authority" in bold red letters, but I can see the spine of what's definitely a repurposed recipe book underneath. She starts ranting about how the bridge blocks floodplain rights and could collapse at any moment, crushing innocent wildlife. As if on cue, a duck waddles onto my bridge, plops down, and starts preening like it owns the place. What Beverly doesn't know is I'm 2 speed dials away from the state emergency management director, My permits aren't just valid, they're blessed by Fish and Wildlife County Flood Control and a historic streams commission that makes bishops blink. So while Beverly's still giving her one-woman Broadway show, I calmly call in a few friends. It's Hale. Got an HOA president asserting abatement of a permitted span in a protected cold water habitat. Can you bring flood control, fish, and wildlife, and hey, body cams rolling, please? Suddenly, this scene turns into a real party. Troopers show up, then a county flood engineer in a truck bristling with antennas, then a biologist and hip waders, and finally a deputy DA who recognizes me from legislative hearings and Beverly from what he whispers under his breath as that gazebo incident. The HOA's demolition crew starts looking less like a work party and more like an audience at their own funeral. The flood engineer whips out a tablet, runs a lead scan, and announces, "This bridge increased freeboard by 2 inches. If anything, it unfloods." The officer nods, pretending he knows what freeboard means. The biologist points under the bridge. "See those trout nests? You jackhammer this, you're buying me a new stream, and streams ain't cheap." The deputy DA turns to Beverly for her abatement authority. She whips out a page from the bylaws with emergency landscaping highlighted in yellow and below it in what's definitely glitter pen someone's written in bridges. The trooper looks straight at his body cam and deadpans copy that glitter pen. Now Beverly's demolition crew is backing away so fast you'd think they were allergic to accountability. Derek and his sledgehammer are halfway to their car. The only thing left behind is a sweating cooler of detox lemonade abandoned like a last-ditch peace offering. Then comes the twist. Deputy DA asks for everyone's name for the record. I hand over my card, the one I keep for real emergencies. He reads it, blinks, then gives me a look like he just realized he's been talking to the guy who writes the laws. Beverly grabs the card, reads aloud, "Counsel to the governor," and her face goes through all 5 stages of grief in under 10 seconds. Somewhere between denial and bargaining, the trooper's radio chirps, "Dispatch confirms my permits are valid, filed," and the county actually commended the construction. Plus, HOA has 0 jurisdiction over streams or structures on private lots. That's when the science lesson drops. Streams, even the tiny ones with trout, fall under state and federal protection, not HOA micromanagement. The biologist carefully lifts Beverly's rented jackhammer off my porch and sets it down on the grass like he's confiscating a trumpet at a library. The deputy DA, who's clearly waited years for this moment, starts listing off citations. False report to 911, a misdemeanor. Attempted criminal mischief since she threatened a protected habitat, now that's a felony with federal strings. Trespass for marching onto private property with a demolition squad. Disturbance of a protected stream, federal implications, which gets everyone shifting their feet. Someone in the crowd whispers, "Is synergy a felony?" And I almost lose it right there. Beverly's frozen, gripping her glitter pen bylaws, like they'll turn into a real law if she squeezes hard enough. But the deputy DA isn't done. He starts making calls. The EPA wants a word. The Army Corps of Engineers is suddenly interested. The state attorney general is sending their own rep. Beverly's emergency authority binder slips from her hands and lands in a puddle cover, flopping open to reveal a recipe for lemon bars. You can't make this stuff up. A week later, a judge grants a protective order. No one from the HOA can touch my bridge ever. The association gets hit with civil penalties, so steep the treasurer quits on the spot, and all their legal budget for the year goes into stream restoration money. They'd set aside for fighting other menaces like bird baths and garden gnomes. Beverly personally receives a 1-year ban from any HOA office, which the judge extends to any property authority in the entire county. She's got 100 hours of community service, specifically with fish and wildlife, picking up trash along streams with a strict no glitter pens rule. Oh, and the judge makes her attend a 6-month Saturday class called Bylaws Are Not Magic Wands, taught by the county attorney. As for the criminal charges, the false 911 call alone carries up to 6 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. Attempted criminal mischief involving protected habitat. That's another $10,000 and maybe even federal time. Trespass and harassment adds $5,000 more. When the judge reads out the total 20 grand in fines, plus 30 in legal fees, Beverly goes sheet white, mouth opening and closing like a fish. All she manages is, but it was just a bridge right before she faints dead away onto her soggy lemon bar-stained emergency binder. So here's my question. When exactly did defending common sense become an act of war? And at what point did a simple bridge become the front line for the battle between reason and HOA insanity? I'd love to hear your stories, drop your wildest HOA moment, or just tell me where you stand on all this. Does justice feel right, or did we all just watch someone trip over their own glitter pen? If you've ever faced down a neighborhood power trip or just believe in standing your ground, hit share, drop a comment, and let's hear where you're watching from. Because in the end, I think we could all use a little more freeboard. You know what I mean?